Hello and welcome to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar. In this video we'll be answering the question, how can I use indefinite articles with uncountable nouns? An uncountable noun is used to define nouns that are hard to count. So for example, liquids like water and milk are hard for us to count as such. Additionally, things like equipment, whether that's pebbles, woods, pins, materials that are very plentiful and hard to count precisely. And finally, things that are more generally hard to measure, like ideas or air. Because we can't count these nouns, we should never use a or an with them. It's only in the singular form of the noun, so just one thing that we'd use the indefinite article a or an. So let's really examine what the rules are in action. Let's consider these three sentences. I'd like a milk, please. She has a sand in her hair. Give me an air now. We know each of these sentences is not grammatically correct. It doesn't sound right to the trained ear in English. What I'd love you to do though is to hit pause and try and solve why these sentences don't make sense. So, how did you get on? Could you try and rephrase these sentences? Why not hit pause to try and rephrase these sentences so that they make sense? How did that go? First sentence needs to be adapted as such. I'd like a milk, please, makes no sense. If I said, I'd like some milk, please, that makes sense. As opposed to saying she has a sand in her hair, instead, the person should say she has some sand in her hair. And finally, as opposed to saying give me an air now, that doesn't make sense. Just saying give me some air now makes much more sense. Consider this next sentence. If somebody said, I would like a glass of milk, why is it appropriate that there is an article there? The short and quick answer to that is that as the milk is in a measured unit, a glass, and it's a singular item, the glass is one singular thing, it has the article a. As I mentioned earlier in this video, when an uncountable noun is in its singular form, the singular here is a glass of milk, we need the article a before it. Now it's your turn. For each of these four sentences, decide whether it's correct or not. And if it's grammatically incorrect, how can it be made correct with your help? Why not hit pause if you need thinking time? So, I dislike when I get a pebbles between my toes is incorrect. And the sentence can be made correct when we take away the indefinite article a. I dislike when I get pebbles between my toes. Me too. Sentence number 2 is correct. Yes, some ideas are best left unsaid. I agree. Number 3, a bucket of ice would be useful in this heat. I'm sure it could. And it's correct because you'll notice that the indefinite article a has been made singular. By saying a bucket, that's a singular thing. A bucket of ice makes the uncountable noun ice easier to manipulate and understand. The final example, Nathan enjoys drinking a water before training, does not sound correct. It is incorrect. Instead, if I refined how he drinks that water and with what, I have a much more precise answer. A sentence that makes sense instead would be, Nathan enjoys drinking a glass of water before training. What I've done with that last sentence is make this uncountable noun of water more definable by describing the glass of water that he drinks. That makes this uncountable noun in its singular form. Best of luck in ensuring you use indefinite articles properly, especially when considering uncountable nouns. Why not subscribe to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar for all things English, literary and grammatical?